Hi guys, so I know it's been a while since I've recorded and I'm back with Mulberry paper tutorial. That is the paper that looks furry on my Santa hats and on my little paper pieces I just did. On eBay, let's see, this is just Mulberry paper. It came from Autism Sings 1985 at yahoo.com. This is just a 50 pack, and these were the colors in the pack. I actually have a whole bag of Mulberry paper, a large tote of it, I should say. So the things you'll need is water, a paintbrush, pencil if you're using white, along with an embossing tool. That's the one with the little balls on the end. If you're using another darker color, then a pen will be suffice. And I'm going to show you the difference here. So when you trace your design that you want to be on Mulberry paper, it's going to be face up to face up, and then you just flip it over. The number 2 is just so I know which dog it goes to, because I'm actually working on another set right now. So I found this the easiest way for me, so I don't have to keep sitting there saturating it and then not having even tears. So I go ahead and trace it with pencil. You want it pretty dark because it does rub off for the most part between the water and pulling it. So I'm going to trace that, and then I'm going to take my embossing tool. You can use the end of a pen without the ballpoint sticking out, or the back of your paintbrush if you don't have an embossing tool. But you can get these on eBay as well, and you'll need the Mulberry Fluffing Tool, which when you pull up Mulberry paper, you'll see these in between. I got mine from the seller Bare Necessities on eBay. So I'm just going to trace around, and I'm going to put a lot of pressure because I want to cause a good indentation so the water saturates more evenly and all the way through. And it is a pretty good pressure. You'll see a nice indentation where you've gone around. So we're gonna just finish this one up. This is the second time I've done this. Like I said, I was almost done and then my camera decided just to shut down. And it cut off at the most inopportune time, so I'm repeating it. Now this is for the white. I'm gonna set that back over there. And then for a dark color, you're going to just use a pen and apply quite a bit of pressure. The reason I don't use a pen on the white is because the pen doesn't come off very well, and you can see it on the other side of the white when you turn it over to put it wherever you're gonna glue it to. If there's a part that didn't look like it went through, you can do the same thing. Go around it with your embossing tool. I'm not going to because I know I applied enough pressure. So I'm gonna wet this. And it's just water. I just use a little bowl. And then you just flip it over. You make sure I just dropped it. Yes, make sure you drop it. You want the water to go all the way through right there. It's not enough, so I'm gonna go ahead and just put a little more water around it so it goes all the way through. Okay, so I use scissors to make little marks for me to start. You don't want to cut all the way to the line. You want to cut right above it. That's where you want to stop. And the only reason I do this is so I have start and stop areas, and I try to cut off some of the excess. That way it does make it easier for me to get a grip on it. So when you pull it, you put your thumb as close to your marking as you can, and you just pull the paper. It pulls off. Sometimes you'll hit a thicker piece of the paper where it's almost like a strong thread, and you do have to pull that quite hard. and you just go around it until you get to your starting, and that's it. And then you're going to set it aside so it can dry completely before you fluff it. The reason I did a second red one is so I can show you the different fluffing tools. Now we're going to do the white. I'm going to go ahead and apply my water with my paintbrush. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just want it to get through where you made the indentations. I know I'm going to put another video of how I have all of my eyes the same color. Same color. Oh my goodness, I need coffee. The same size. That way they're the same size on every single SVG paper piecing I do. And I cut out 100 sets at a time. So I'll do that hopefully today. If not soon. It's just because I've had a couple people ask, and it makes it easier when you can see it versus telling somebody. Because I'm pretty sure the explanation of doing this makes no sense until you see it. When you tell somebody to trace your pattern onto Mulberry and then apply water and then rip it and then let it dry and then fluff it, that's a whole lot of instructions for something that if you have no clue, it doesn't make any sense. So my water's gone through, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just trim off some of the excess. It makes it easier for me to pull it. And just practice with circles until you get the hang of it. That's what I did. And you will play with different techniques, whatever works for you. I'm going to go ahead and make my little slits. And it doesn't matter if you bend it. I bend it all up. It dries very well, and it is pliable. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to just kind of pull this down some. And we're just going to pull along the pencil line, which it is very faint, but you want it faint because you don't want to see it when you flip it over to use it on a pattern. And I use this for all kinds of stuff with my paper piecings. If it can be fuzzy, I'm going to make it fuzzy. And for the longest time, I forgot I even had it. I reordered some because I did not remember where I had put the big bag of it when I moved. It was in the garage. And when we rearranged the garage and cleaned it out from me getting married, I found the bag. So now I have an overabundance of Mulberry paper, which I'm okay with because I will find uses and purposes for it. The little balls on the end of Santa hats, I use it for that. Sometimes clouds or snow, it just really depends. Now for the little grooves, the indentations that come in like a cloud, I use my tweezers just to pull that, but I still hold it just because I want some definition in the part where it curves in. I don't want it just one big blob. And you pull with your fingertips, and that's what gives you the edges. Now here's where I'm gonna pull again. And if you overdo it, just kind of shrink the pattern a little bit or start over. But I can tell you that it took me a long time to figure out different ways for this to work the best for me. And it'll be the same for you guys. You guys will take what you see and tweak it just so it fits you. So that's it on that. And there's the shape. So I've already done some, and that was just so I can show you guys. Let me move my water before I end up spilling it. Now, I am going to move this. It's wet, sorry. That's a little wet. Okay, so this is my cloud, and I'm going to use the tool the Fluffing Tool, that's all it's called. And I just brush it outwards. And I just keep brushing it until I'm happy with the way that the fibers are going. And make sure you put it on paper because it will scratch your desk, it will scratch glass, it will scratch wood. This thing is very dangerous when it comes to nice stuff. And then for me, just to soften it a little bit more, I do brush the back side. That's to get rid of the pencil marks so you can't see them. Like you can see it right there. Well, camera's not picking it up too well. But that's how I kind of just brush off my pencil to soften it. And then it gives you some more fibers on the other side, on the edges. I'm gonna go ahead and brush the middle some more. And that's it. That is my furry paper. So, there is another tool that comes with, there's actually 2 more tools that come with it. And I don't use either one of them just because it's not my preference. There's that one. If they're nice, they'll go ahead and stick it in peanuts for you. If they're not, be careful. So this one here, let's see, there we go. What they'll do is they go ahead and soften the paper. But then they pull it up and it's pretty thick, so you can really get in there. I just never got into this because I don't have filling in my fingers since my surgery. And I end up with a whole bunch of little bloody holes in my fingers. And I don't fill it, and it goes in there pretty good. And then I notice that there's red on everything, and that's from my fingers bleeding. So I try to stay away from this tool just because I know that it's got capabilities that I don't like as far as pain when I get alcohol in it or cooking like lemon. I can feel some of it there and it's not a good feeling. But they just kind of, you stick it in and pull up and it gives it a different dimension where it makes it really fluffy. And the hook tool I haven't really played with, but this one I know a few people that use it and I'm not a fan of it. But that's what that one looks like if you use that scary thing right there. All right, any questions, let me know. But those are the Mulberry paper and tools and the process to do them. I don't mind helping, as you see. Thank you for following. I'm glad I can help you. And with anything I use, you see, let me know. I'm gonna also probably in the video of cutting out the eyes, I am going to also show on maybe one eye how I do the chalking, so how I use my white chalk on the black center of the eye to make it just pop a little more. So stay tuned. I'll go ahead and post that too. Have a good day, guys.